buddy Doc and I are just kind of looking around, and they promised me a scenic window overlooking the lake, and all I can see, Doc, is you. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but let me ask you, as we always start up, we got so much to talk about tonight. Let me start up and ask you, Doc, what's up, buddy?
What's up?
What is
Let's see if this makes a statement for the rest of the season. Also, we're going to talk about the NFL Lockout.
Yep.
Did you know that 19 of the franchises out of the 32 involved are worth $1 billion? $1 billion, and they're fighting over what? We'll talk about that.
A guy like you, that's small change.
Oh, yeah, a guy like me. Come on. I'm driving a pickup truck. The second thing, spring training. Spring training. We got to talk about these young guns. Look at all these young athletes winning. You know, you had that guy win the Daytona 500 just the other day. He was 20 years old.
Yep.
What do you think of that?
I think
Trevor Bayne wins the Daytona at 20, and now we got Freddie Freeman and Jason Hayward of the Atlanta Braves, 21 years old. I mean, the young guns, I'm starting to feel like I'm old.
you are old.
Oh, okay, forget about it.
You are old.
And we're going to talk about the New York Yankees. I have to throw this out. I'm wearing my Yankee jersey.
Why?
You didn't notice anything.
I try to forget that.
Forget it.
There's somebody I know that cares about the Yankees.
Listen, Pittsburgh.
Other than we had a nice conversation the other night with Gary Sheffield, and Gary's going to help us out.
We'll talk about that. Don't throw it out there yet.
So from a Yankee standpoint, that's probably as far as you're going to get me.
But they earned $441 million last year. Do you know who earned more money than them?
No.
In the sports? Real Madrid, $592 million.
You are kidding.
These numbers are just mind-boggling. And the last thing that I really want to bring up is my love-hate relationship with the NBA. Do you think these referees are controlling the game? Do you think David Stern is changing the game? Because I'll tell you what. Let's go right with the match. Let's go.
Let's start off with that, because I have a bone to pick with that. I mean, we the last several games I have seen nothing but and I'm a believer from what I've seen that Stern is actually trying to change the market situation. I really do. I watched the amount of fouls in the New York game, and in the there were an unbelievable amount of fouls. I mean, they're calling technicals like crazy. They threw Gasol out of the game for pointing up at the jumbotron at a replay, and they teed him up for pointing at the jumbotron. Now, how crazy is that?
Crazy is that? You and I were at the Knicks game.
Yes, we were.
97 fouls called. 97. 47 on the New York Knicks and 50 on the Orlando Magic. That's how many free throws were attempted.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. And the amount of technicals is just getting crazy. And you just got to wonder. I mean, it was obvious in the New York game, but it was still bad in the Charlotte game when you and I were watching the Charlotte game. And there were a couple of times that Dwight, I know, walked away from the basket, and they had him locked up. They were pounding him on the head. They got his arms wrapped up. They're grabbing his shirt. They're holding on to him. He doesn't get the calls for him. He only gets them against him.
That brings up a question.
Yes.
Do you think if Dwight Howard played in a big market, Chicago, New York, LA, the Bulls, that he'd be getting the same treatment he's getting here? Now, I want our listeners to call in on that. Don't you say anything, because already somebody has found us on the new time. A caller, the Mini Sicilian.
Mini Sicilian. Mini Sicilian.
Are you there? Twitter account is Ace and the Doc AM. So all you got to do is start tweeting us. I'm learning.
Which is amazing, because when I grew up tweeting people, tweet was a little yellow bird, okay, that a cat was chasing, and Granny used to keep him in a cage. Now all of a sudden we're tweeting.
Stop telling everybody your age. I do not think Dwight is leaving. And here's the reason why. Who the heck wants to play in Brooklyn? I think Deron Williams is not going to stay in Brooklyn. I don't care how much money the Russian billionaire has. It's not a place to hang out. That's number one. Wait.
But you played in Brooklyn.
You're back in the 60s.
I understand, but you played in the Brooklyn.
Back in the 60s. It was a gentler kind of time. You know? when we had the boys of summer, like Duke Schneider, who just passed away. Yeah. I mean, we had the Willie Mazes, and we had the Mickey Mantles, and, you had the Not Hole Gang. It was a totally different time. But I do not believe that Dwight is going to leave. So I'm changing my tune. Remember last time I thought he was leaving?
And we've had this conversation many times, and I love Dwight. I would love to see Dwight retire in Orlando. I really would, and it's my hope that he does that. I would just like to see him put his name on the paper. Now, I've noticed that he has come out with some comments that have kind of alluded to the fact that he very well may stay. And Dwight, if you're in earshot of this, we're really glad to hear that, because I hope you've never misunderstood. We want you here. We want you here.
Well, Dwight understands something better than most of these athletes today. You know, I've known Dwight since he's 18. Dwight doesn't pay attention to, he gets tired of the media bombarding him with all these crazy questions, but Dwight understands what the business is about, and he understands that his best place for a championship, in my opinion, is still here, and I think he understands it. Why? Well, if he goes to the Lakers, Phil Jackson is retiring,
Absolutely.
Kobe's getting old, forget the Lakers.
The Lakers are gone.
You know, the Knicks, you got Carmelo, you've got Amari Stoudemire, you got Billups, you got 3 stars there. Here, Dwight is the star. He is the king. He's the head of Disney World. You know what I'm saying?
No question about it, but you still have that controversy on large versus small market. The only one that's really set the stage to change that is San Antonio, and San Antonio has broken the mold. They've had the best record for the last 8 years.
Well, they're the exception to the rule.
They are the exception, but I get that feeling that the league management, Stern and company, are almost trying to embellish the large markets by making it easier for them to play.
Hold that thought. You know why?
Why?
Here we are. First time we're on the station, 1080 ESPN. We're happy to be here. We gave out the call numbers, and the lines have lit up. If you haven't listened to us before, we're known as the sports program with what?
With heart.
Heart. So
heart.
Starting with heart, we're going to go to the lines, and is this...